Hello, thanks for joining.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining to our session. We are really happy to be here and thanks very much for having us in this amazing session. And of course, first of all, I want to say thank you for all of the sponsors that make this community event possible.
Thank you so much.
So, let me say that nowadays there are really many applications where we need to find a solution or improve the collaboration between the teams in your organization. So you can imagine a simple scenario where you have to send a task to another team that has to accept and then complete the approval chain. So this develop take many times in many scenarios because I'm pretty sure that all of us we are looking for the best way to improve the step, improve the chain, reduce the step, and complete the entire scenario. So the purpose of our demo today is showing up this feature, adaptive card for power-ups. And we want to explore how this feature can help you to improve significantly the collaboration. To do that, we are going to explore this feature following three steps. So first of all, we are going to start to introduction the adaptive card in all the way. Then we are going to explore the cards for power up, this new feature. And at the end, we are going to talk about other feature that cards for power up offer to us for this scenario. So I left the stage to Angelo to start to talk about the adaptive card.
Thanks. So, we can start with all kind of adaptive cards. So basically, what adaptive cards is? Adaptive cards is an open exchange card format. It's a JSON that you can define to show information to the user in a different way instead like traditional email, for example. And adaptive cards are a really versatile tool to create dynamic content to show to the user. It's really nice because with adaptive cards you have the same user experience across different devices. For example, if you send adaptive card, you can send adaptive cards to Teams, to web application, to email, and have the same graphical aspect to different devices. It's a really nice solution and fast to information exchange with your user. There are a lot of nice characteristics. Adaptive cards can dynamically adapt to user environment, so they can take the screen size, the capability of the environment, of course, and have, as I told you, the same experience of different devices. Another nice feature is that you can include dynamic content. So you can show text, you show images, button with action, redirect tool, etc. to create rich and engaging experience for our user. It's cross-platform. You can use on Teams, Outlook, you can use on your web application, chatbot, etc. And you can customize this experience to match the branding application of your application. So let's see an example of adaptive card. In this case, we have adaptive card that show the agenda of today for the user. As you can see, we have a lot of different information that we can show. For example, there are people who attended the meeting, the timeline, the information about the place. This is a nice experience instead of like a traditional email with a lot of text information. Another example that we can see is these adaptive cards that show flight detail to the user. It gives us information about the flight, about the airlines, from start, destination, and in this case we have also two action buttons to do check-in and view detailed information. Another example is an adaptive card that you can allow users to put some information, and he asks for information about entry, side, drink, what would you like to drink, and confirm and placeholder. So there are different ways to grab sub information instead of traditional application form. So how you can build adaptive cards? Adaptive cards are based on JSON format, and we have a nice free site that you can use to build adaptive cards that I can show in 1 second, called Adaptive Card Designer. Let me show you. It's a minute. Oh, is it the Photoshop? Exactly.
It's mental.
Thank you so much. Okay, so here we have Adaptive Card Designer that, as I told you, allows us to define our adaptive card. Reduce a little bit the zoom. Okay. So you have the card elements that you can include in your adaptive card, a little preview of your adaptive card, the card structure, and also the payload of your adaptive card that you can grab and use on your application. There are some nice information. For example, you can see the adaptive cards and show the hosted application. So you can see the preview of your adaptive cards, for example, on Teams, on Viva Connection, Cortana Steel, etc. So you can see in preview what's the adaptive card show. Then you can also specify the theme, and finally we can preview mode with all data loaded in your adaptive cards. So this is what may allow us to take also some sample. If you don't know how can you start to build adaptive card, you can start from sample and then manipulate sample before integrating your application. So let me show a demo. We have a Power Apps application, Canvas app application, that send information about ticket, in this case. So this is a demo. You have a lot of tickets, and the scenario is, for example, IT support works on ticket, and then want to informate user regarding the status of his ticket. Every ticket management system sends an email to the user, but in this case we can also, for example, send an adaptive card to Teams to have a most nice user experience. So in this case we have a lot of tickets. I show the first one and click send. It's a demo, so this is not a real application, but send real adaptive cards where on our Teams channel. Here is our example. So we send to the, in this case, to the Teams channel, but in the same way you can send adaptive cards directly to the user chat, so in private. In this case, we send the information about the ticket status update, ticket ID, the title, the status of the ticket, the date, that at the bottom is clear, and information about ticket. How it's working? So here we have a table with some fake data about our tickets, and when we click on our ribbon, we have a notify click button when we call a Power Automate flow that send adaptive card. Basically, I take information about the ticket and pass they as a parameters and call our flow. Separate. Where it is. Okay, so the trigger is power ups because we want to call this flow from Canvas app. We have a lot of input parameters: ticket ID, description, status, open date, title. We have a variable with our adaptive cards that I created with Adaptive Card Designer, and here I have a lot of placeholder. For example, ticket ID, title, description, here. And in my flow, I am going to do some replaces of adaptive card. Let me try to show you. Okay. So let's load up. Okay, it's not format corrected, but as you can see, we have a lot of replaces that where we can replace the placeholder with information from a trigger. So in this way, we have another variable called the completed card, and then with a simple action, we can post a card in a chat or channel. So if you want, you can also create a new chat with the user and take the ID of the chat and post adaptive card to the chat in the same way. This is an example of adaptive card. So we can come back to our slide. Okay. And this is an approach. But what is missing from the current approach? So you can define your adaptive cards. It's beautiful. You can show some information to the user and a different device, etc., etc., etc. But you can put business logic inside. So you can, for example, show some field, some input field, if there are other conditions. Okay. This is the first limitation. The second one is that ALM not natively supported. So you can manage from yourself your JSON. For example, you can put your JSON of adaptive card in environment variable and put environment variable inside solution, etc. But it's not natively supported. And the last one is that for some people, manipulate JSON with a lot of replaces is not a really simple way to do that. So for this reason, I take the word to my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Because as Angelo said, we have this option regarding the old way to build this communication inter your teams using this old one way, but it has a few limitations. And from my point of view, the limitation that you cannot directly interact with the data source entire your adaptive card is really limited for improve your chain of flow. So cursor power up born to reduce this limitation, and one of its purpose is to increase and better the communication. So we can say that cards for power up are like micro apps. So what I mean, when you develop a cards for power up, when we are going to see in a while, you can insert directly the business logic using the PowerFX, and you can directly interact with the data source, mainly Dataverse. So I want to show you this in practice because I think it's the best way to start to learn and start to figure out how it's works. But before, I want to retake the example that I mentioned at the start of this speech, because as I said, that you have to image a scenario where you have to send a request to a pool of manager that has to approve a specific task, okay? And nowadays there are many situations where this task will not be completed. For example, imagine that you will send your adaptive card all the way on Outlook or on Teams, but the manager or the user cannot directly interact with that card. So they have to go back, click on an hyperlink, go in another site, lost the focus of that action that they have to do, okay? And this is really critical because it's one way that your chain, your approval chain will be broken, okay? So thanks to cards for adaptive card, cards for power up, we are going to interact directly with the cards in a team context. So in a while we are going to see this architecture. So let's start from Power Up Canvas, a really simple Power Up Canvas where a pool of users can create a new task. For example, a support task because they need to change an SSD or something like that. And this app is based on Dataverse. So we are going to save and store the data entire the Dataverse table. Behind the scenes, there's a cloud flow or automatic cloud flow, which will be triggered when this new record is created. And one of its action is to create an instance of that card that you made before. And then you can define where you have to push this card. For example, we are going to send to a Teams channel. And in this case, we are going to see that thanks to the approve button or edit or decline or the other action, the user can directly interact with that card and complete the task without jumping another site, without any delay, stuff like that. So, as I said, I want to see in a deep, so let's start with order. So, as I said, we have this simple, really simple Power Up Canvas developed using modern control, and one of the capabilities of this app is create a new report, so the user can fill out the form and insert some information, for example, a PPC. It's fine. They can define the area. Insert a cost and insert a note. After click save, the record of course is created on our Dataverse table, and behind the scenes, as I said before, there's a cloud flow which will be triggered and create an instance of our cars that we can find in our teams, dedicated teams, as I said before. So if I scroll down, it takes a while. So as you can see, here we have a different card that now we are going to see how you can develop and add any custom logic, okay? But for this moment, you have to see that here you can just immediately click approve, and after you have clicked approved, we are going to patch Dataverse, and directly we are going to update our record, so the user pool who has created this record is going to find the, here we go, in the completed tab, APPC hidden. Okay, we are not have the record that we have created before in pending. And from my perspective, this is really changed from the old side, okay? Because as I said before, the user that has to click on approve or edit or reject or do something he wants, he can do directly in a Teams context, not to jump in another way, not jump to in another site. Okay.
Visual support.
Visual support.
Too much close? Okay.
So it's time to see what happened behind the scenes because this is the start of the demo, but we need to figure out what there's behind the scenes. So as I said before, we have a simple Power Automate will be triggered when a new record, a new report task is created, and as you can see here we have a simple scenario where we have just a try-catch pattern. So inside the try, as you can see, we can use directly this new action, okay, that can help you to that create the instance of the card. Okay, here we are going to specify what card you have to use, and we are able to send to the card many information. We are going to see in a while. After that, you can just select the instance of the card that you have selected in the action before and push on a specific team channel. Is it?
But as you can see here is really simple. The previous method when you can go to replace some text inside JSON. Okay, here you can define a lot of input data and put your value, your variable, your data inside. It's really simple to manage. It's really simple to understand. Then if you open this one after 1 year to do some update, it's really simple to understand. Then replace of your JSON text. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to see in a while how you can create this variable and what you can do. But for this scenario, we can imagine that we can expand this context. After that action, you can also retrieve the message ID that you have pushed on Teams, store in the same record in a different column, and reuse that message ID to attach a message when the task is completed, for example. Or then you can set a catch where if the try fail, okay, I want any way to send the information. So here you can send an email and come back to the old way. Okay, but here we have this action. This is really important because we are going to create an instance of this card. The card is this one. So as you can see, cards for Power Up, it's really useful not just for the capability to work with Dataverse, but also for his UI, UX, because it's really like to power up Canvas interface. So citizen developer should not have any problem to create a new card, to create and use many block of this capability to create own card. And First of all, I want to show you that here we have a tree view, because here, for this capability, we can control also the flow of the user. In the old way, you could not do this aspect. If you, thanks to this capability, you can define what the user has to do if you click on edit. And we can say if we click on edit, we are going to navigate to the edit tab. And edit tab is another screen that you can customize and insert any other information. And here in save, there will be a different patch. Or of course, you can manage also if they want to decline, and it's similar to edit and approve. But you can also define a different kind of button. For example, here, as you can see, I don't know if you see that, but this kind of button has a type run power fx. Okay, so in verb, you can set your power fx. It's a really really simple patch. And we have another kind of button, because here we have open URL, and as you can see in URL, we are gonna to retrieve the information from our env dev environment variable. Okay, so this is another advantage that this capability Cars for Power Up offer to create reactivity cars and useful for your purpose. Probably the main aspect that you have to figure out when you want to work in Cars for Power Up, of course, you have the capability to connect directly with the data source. We don't have the entire list of data source that we have for Power Ups. We have a limited set, but I think they will cover most of your scenario. We don't have SharePoint, okay, but we can interact directly with Dataverse. We can send directly an email, and then we are going to see also this aspect. We can interact directly with Office 365, and yeah, for me it's really interesting.
Yes, keep in mind that if you can, for example, patch a record in Dataverse table, then you can attach a Power Automate flow with a trigger to your table when you create or patch record. And from this, you can do what you want to do with a simple Power Automate flow.
Exactly. And this is not the most important aspect that you have to consider, in my opinion. The most important aspect that you have to consider is in this tab, variables, because here you can set a new variable, and you have the capability to define a different type of variable, for example, text number, an object, so a record, a data collection, or a boolean as well. But the main aspect that you have to consider is this value setting, persistence, because the mean is temporary. We can consider that the data under this setting will be static and will not be resetted anytime your cars will be loaded. Otherwise, permanent is the opposite. So it's that kind of a variable which will be resetted anytime the cars will be loaded in the team's context, and they have a different purpose, different scope, because you can imagine that you can use a permanent variable, for example, like a boolean, to manage if the task is already completed. And I can show you, because if we click here, so we have a task completed, that's a boolean, and if we click here, we can see that it's a temporary and boolean, and if we click outside the carton, we can see we have the on-show event. It's the same things of the on-visible to have a compare with power-ups word. And here you can execute a simple lookup to retrieve the information if that task with that GUID is completed. And this is useful because thanks to this boolean, you can manage also the mutex. So the mutex is that if I have already updated this record, I want to prevent that other guys will not replace or will not do the same action. So here in the section of the button, we can see that we can set the on property is visible, the status of this boolean. So if the task is completed, the next user will load the channel, will not find available this set of button. Okay.
So basically, because you can, as you can see, you can push this card on Teams channel. So every people in this team channel can see the card, and with this method we can show the command bar also if a task is not completed. The first person who click on button, and then the variable is completed, so the command bar is not visible for other people.
Exactly, and as you can see, we are free to customize our cards as we want. We can use the emoji.
Very happy about that.
Right, exactly. We can use emoji, we can add our power effects and make our cards for our purpose. And this is the cards that we have used for the demo, for the scenario that we have seen before. But as I said, I wanted to illustrate also a really extremely basic card, because there's not just Dataverse for our solution or for our communication, no? So in this case, I have used another connector. So I've used the Outlook connector. So in this case, we are going to test this card, because using this interface, you are able to debug the adaptive cards for Power Up as well, using this button on top right, JSON. You can see the entire JSON. I don't recommend to manipulate this JSON. Okay, this is just the result of the component that you insert here, and as you can see here, you can add any component to create your cards, and you can debug the cards as well. So if you click play, you are gonna redirect on this. I don't know why it's happening, because maybe okay, I don't know. Let me check. Okay, this is an error because we don't have the connection with Dataverse. So, okay. Here we can click directly the send email, and if we click email, we have add this action send email. In this case is static, but we can imagine that we can pass this value as input parameter, of course, and we can also imagine that here we have two fields to allow the user to insert manually the email or insert manually the body of the email. Okay, and then when it's happened, we can, as I said before, we can control the flow of the cards. So we are going to redirect the final user to say, okay, the mail is sent. Okay, is sent. And if we go on our Outlook, we find the mail. Probably has to here we go. Here we go. This is another important aspect, this capability that you can use Outlook, Office, or other connector that not under a subscribe. Okay, because there are many scenarios where you can imagine to send a communication to your entire team to, I don't know, maybe they have to fill out the form of your job hour or just for your intranet to resend, or also if you want to able to allow the final user to send an email without jump in Outlook, without lost the focus. It's really important. And but as I said before, it's not just the value that this capability introduces, because here, I don't know if you have noticed that, but when I talked about edit, probably you didn't notice it because I didn't show it. Let me go back. Here we have the control to the entire pipeline of the LM. Okay, because here in the solution we can create a new card and create your instance of the card inside the solution. So the entire of next step, I don't know if you have Azure DevOps pipeline setting or you want to export and import manually the solution, your choice, but you have the full control if in your entire pipeline. And this is another amazing advantage that this capability offers instead the old one. Because in the old one, you probably got some trouble with JSON when you move from an environment or another, or image that citizen developer has a huge JSON and probably has some issue or some trouble to manipulate it. It can be happen. Instead, in this way, you have the full control to the entire pipeline and to the instance as well. Vuoi aggiungere qualcosa? Okay. And the other aspect that you have to consider is licensing. Of course, it's always a hot topic, licensing. It's very easy. It's like Power Up Canvas. You use Dataverse, you need a premium license. You don't want to use Dataverse, so you are going to use Outlook, Office, or the other one. That's not it. Easy. But last but not least is the control of the security. Because here in Dataverse, we have the Dataverse stable cards, okay, which will store this instance, and it means that you can manage the security role to allow who can create, who can edit, who can read, thanks to the security role of the Dataverse. And it's a really nice aspect in my point of view, because in old way you totally lost this control. Okay, until now, till great. So, as that, and program also. Okay, so I hope that this demo help you to figure out the capability of these cards for Power Up and find out the main difference between this feature and the old one way. Of course, as I said before, we have some limitation. Now we can work just for a limited set of data source, as you saw. But I expect that this feature can evolve in the time. You probably wondering how can I interact with the SharePoint or something like that. If I don't know if will be possible, I hope, but we can hope that Microsoft allow us to interact directly in Power Automate from our cars, and of course it will open the entire scenario, because you will trigger directly your Power Automate from your cars and you resolve probably anything. We can just create an instance of the card just for Teams until now. You can not send that instance on directly on Outlook. but it's a marginal problem.
This is a big difference if you want to choose the first part or the second one. If you want to send an adaptive card to an email with Outlook, you cannot use this app for now.
And of course, there's some limited PowerFX function that you can use. So you are not able to use the entire set that you can use on your Power App canvas. But from my point of view, you have all of the function to satisfy maybe the 99% of your scenarios. And you have to pay attention regarding the large data set, because of course you have to apply the same logic that you use when you want to work with the Power App Canvas. You should avoid
Irrigation,
irrigation, and things like that. This is me. Probably you match with the picture, I don't know, but there are my social account that you can use to find out many contacts regarding Power App, Power Platform, and things like that. One of my last contribution for the community has been PCF, hosted in an amazing site managed by Guido. You can check that PCF because allow you to create an instance of PDF starting from Tailwind. It has been developed using React, and it is integrated also with App Insight. You can also monitor the application site and your metric. And yeah, with me, yes, Angelo.
My name is Angelo. I am Microsoft MVP for this app and MCT. I work as a self-employed consultant, and yeah, my links, my blog, my LinkedIn account, Twitter. Feel free to follow me if you want, or write me if you have any question. Thanks for attending our session.
Thank you very much. Stay here for a few questions, if you or it can. All good.
Question before lunch. Yeah.
Hi guys, thanks a lot for the presentation. It's actually very helpful. I have one use case, and I have a specific question in this regard, so I hope you can help your characters build the knowledge that I should learn of this, because at my company, I want to introduce this a lot, especially since we're like fully dedicated with teams, and that's very helpful direct from teaching. You will basically do some small commands. So I was really hoping for some use case, or like for example, when I want to communicate with a third party out of like sales course, for example. If I have a similar question in regards, so for example, I had a new lead or a software from Salesforce coming up, and I have an option, and I need something I can create with parts there that just maybe send it to someone or like add a tag to it with this option. I've checked a bit with Power Automate, there's some connections that can help you with, but I thought maybe you have more knowledge of it, you can help a bit to kind of understand more, because I have to use case that I'm trying to come a solution of this. Yes.
If you want to use this solution for your scenario, if I feel your case, probably you have some issue if you want to interact directly with Salesforce, because as I said before, you don't have the connector, you have a limited data source, and you could find out a different solution, maybe with a service to send a mail communication inside your Dataverse from your.
For example, not just Salesforce, but also Asana, for example, for ticketing. There's just like this card that's like the idea that this with Power Automate you can do a lot like communication. But will this help, or maybe I should find something else around this? Is how to use this use case?
Here you can try to put the ID of your item, and then when you click a button, call for example cloud flow, passing the ID, and then from the flow you can do what you need.
Another way that you can develop to resolve this scenario could be develop a polling trigger, custom connector polling trigger, or a webhook as well, that will be stay under how can I say that's called under listen was easy under listen, and probably then you can resolve this aspect, because if you develop a custom connector trigger, you can do it webhook or polling. Okay, you can directly call from Asana, Salesforce, or whatever you want, directly in the Power Platform ecosystem, okay, context, and then of course you can we use the action of the cards, and you bring from outside to inside the Power Platform thanks to this, and you can manage also the permission, for example, because the trigger you can set the by enriched, or you can set an application registration very easy to set who can do that action.
I don't know if there is a registration on the web or session, but we deliver a session regarding this connector. Was love if you try to looking for on web, maybe you can find something. Other question?
This film, sir.
First of all, thank you for the station. A while back, a customer had asked, well, I was developing a Power App canvas, and then a customer had asked for if we can send a dynamic form to an end user from the canvas app. And a year ago, Rob also and I set out a way how to do that with Microsoft Forms. So you can customize a Microsoft form in Power Apps and then set it out. You call the API, and it will create a form with your questions and your possible answers, if it's a selection. Is there a way to do something similar with adaptive cards? Is there like an API we could add?
Yeah, in this way you probably could not use this scenario, because probably if you create an instance of that card, you are not able to send it outside. But you can use the old one way, using the JSON way, and of course you can use then the API to manipulate the adaptive card, or use your customization HTML or other stuff like that. And you can also develop your custom card using the old one way, thanks to the Teams toolkit. If you want to try to create, but this is a pro-code solution, not a low-code solution. Okay, it could be what?
Is your scenario outside your organization?
No, it was inside. It was inside. So like from the employees.
Okay.
No,
It's
so
not
Inside, yeah, you create your form, and yes.
it is inside your organization. You can create.
no, but can you create dynamically from Power Apps? That's what I meant. So what we achieved was in Power Apps in Canada, you had like the option to write your questions,
Okay.
and the possible answers to select within the drop-down form. Call the API with that JSON, and then it will create your form.
Not in this way, but another workaround that you can approach could be to use the variable in input, and thanks to the body that you send to the, you will send a record, a JSON record as an input value, and thanks to that you have a few WIANA property, and you manage the visibility of different sections, and it's a workaround. It could be fun.
What's funny? Okay.
And they have, I think,
Okay, what do you think about performance? Because my experience is performance sucks.
So this different context, because if we talking about performance in a canvas scenario, I totally agree with you on that. That sometimes we have a load, a down performance, but this is a circumscriptum, I can say, context.
The specific context.
It's a specific context, but probably. It's a specific content that you are going to send like a push notification. So the performance that doesn't matter in this scenario, because if you don't receive real-time notification, but and will receive that notification after 1 or 2 minutes. It's not really fast, but of course you have to keep your card very specific. You cannot bring your card like a new Canvas app. Yeah. Okay. So you have to keep your data source specific. You have to keep this kind of attention and keep small. Yeah. Very atomic. Has to be very atomic. I didn't discounted no problem with the solution.
The last one. Yeah, so I saw you adding there the Dataverse tables and you were patching records. What connection is within that, like behind the scenes as a business reference?
Under, as I said before,
That. So sure. And I'm to that.
when you are gonna to set your cards and you want to create a connection with data, it's the same with the Power Up Canvas, because here we have the tab data source and you create add the data and establish a new connection with Dataverse. It's the same.
Is it using a connection reference, or is it accessing the data as the user who is interacting with the card? So that's where I lost.
I didn't try if you can change the different solutions. So if I figure out your point of view, you say that I have already a connection with Dataverse. I want to reuse that one. You can, of course, import that in your solution, and there is the connection.
It's like a connection.
It's another connection reference. Of course, you can manipulate the connection if you go connection init, if you go to the connection tab.
This is nice because this is part of your and process.
Immediately the running user connection when it's the views.
So if the user doesn't have access to that table.
Yeah, exactly, because exactly. Of course, if the user doesn't have the privilege to work with the student table, can't patching the data.
Okay, last question for me. So I use Power Automate approvals, and one of the problems is that the comment is not mandatory.
Okay.
So it's really possible as an alternative if I add a new card, I put an input text, I make it mandatory and say, look, you need to put a comment. So can be an alternative to the approvals to make a mandatory policy.
Yes, you can make mandatory and enable a button to approve or reject just on the if the people.
Yeah, it's very easy because you can image the submit button, okay, or approve button. And here it's enough to write your Power FX to see if that field is blank, and you're gonna avoid it.
And the value of that input that I can use in the cloud pro answer to...
Yeah, exactly, because it's not permanent, it's temporary.
Exactly, and the information that I give you, I think this way you can avoid the 28 days of the standard approval process. Here, if you use your record in your Dataverse table, you can also approve after 6 months, for example, without any problem. Okay, thanks for attending our session.